What's going on, everybody? Brad Cohen, Harman Realty. In this video, I want to talk about why the housing market is not about to crash. Stay tuned. If you've been reading the news lately or following social media, I'm sure you've seen headlines about housing market crash or looming recession or affordability crisis, all these different negative headlines about what's going on in the housing market and the overall economy right now. So I want to talk about how today the housing market is very different than what we experienced in 2006. First, it's much harder to get a loan now. In 2006 and 7, during the height of the housing bubble and as we approached the crash in 2008, anybody with a pulse could get a mortgage. It was the widest availability of credit in history. And where we sit today, it's actually some of the lowest availability of credit in history. There's some of the tightest lending standards that we've ever had. Back in the height of the housing bubble before it crashed in 2008, subprime adjustable rate mortgages were the go-to mortgage for people. And what happened there is there was very little credit worthiness and pretty much anybody could get one. Now, what's different is there are significantly tighter lending standards and the vast majority of people are still doing 15-year or 30-year fixed rate mortgages. I have seen some adjustable rate mortgages come in to help with the affordability crisis. However, the products I'm seeing now require a much higher down payment and a much higher credit score to qualify. The second factor that makes things very different right now is unemployment. We still have an outrageously low unemployment rate across the country, and right here in Virginia, it's even lower than the national average. Until we have a spike in unemployment, people aren't really falling on hard times. Inflation's been tough on people, that's for sure. Consumer debt has been rising. However, that doesn't directly translate to a change in the housing market. The third reason why today's market is very different is there are far fewer homes for sale. I feel like a broken record. I feel like every time I'm recording a video, we're talking about inventory levels. And while you have seen them tick up ever so slightly, we're still a long way off from even a balanced market. Back in 2007 and 2008, there was 8 to 10 months of housing supply available, whereas today we're sitting at around 3. Until we see a large amount of new inventory coming to market, we still have a supply and demand issue. The final reason why today is very different is that equity levels across the country are at all-time highs. While we've experienced diminishing inventory over the last 10 years, you've seen equity in homes continue to increase. People's savings have increased in their homes and their home value has appreciated for almost 12 years now. What that's led to is over $3.1 trillion of homeowner wealth in the US has been tied up in real estate, and they have equity. Having this much equity in their homes allows people to weather a soft recession, and they have access to that money if they needed to be able to navigate falling on hard times or something like that. Also, having that much equity, people aren't necessarily going to be forced to sell and therefore are not going to be bringing a flood of new inventory to market if we did fall into a recession. So, in summary, due to lending standards, unemployment rates, inventory levels, and the amount of equity people have in their homes, it's very unlikely that a recession is going to bring any sort of housing crash. We're in a very different market than what we experienced in 2008, and all of the data shows that. You can't always believe what you see on the news. If you have any questions or want to dispel any myths or see how this affects us really at a hyper-local level, I'd be more than happy to talk with you. Always feel free to reach out in the comments or send me a call, text, or email, and we can talk about your particular situation. Thanks so much for watching my video. Brad Cohen, your go-to real estate resource here in Harrisonburg and Rockingham County. See you next video.